Okay, now we're going to talk about major and perfect interval basics. Some of you might have done this in class already, but we're just going to reinforce it. This should be the first worksheet in your packet. And let's go ahead and get started. Intervals which occur between the tonic note, and tonic is just a fancy name of a fancy way of saying the bottom note of the scale, and each degree of that scale, and a degree is just a note of that scale, may be described as perfect or major intervals. Notice this is a major and perfect interval basics worksheet. Okay, so let's start with a perfect unison, and we'll go by half steps. Intervals that are on the same line or on the same space are said to be unison intervals, and we've got a little keyboard here, so we'll be working with that. Perfect unison is 1 half step apart, or 0 half steps apart. So if we start on C, we need to get to the next C, 0 half steps. So we're going to write 0. Likewise, if we had a C up here and a C up here, they would be perfect unison as well, just on a space. Okay, major second. The way to tell if it's a major second is if the note is on a line, the next note up will be on a space. It's 1 whole step or 2 half steps. Remember this. These are our half steps. These are our whole steps. Okay. So it's 2 half steps in the major second. Major third. It's going to be a C to an E in this case. Remember, all major thirds are going to be either on the same line, the next line up, or on the next space up. Okay. So major third, 2 whole steps or 4 half steps from C to E. Perfect fourth. Notice that we call it perfect because geometrically it's a perfect interval. Okay. Perfect fourth is 2.5 whole steps or 5 half steps. In this case, it's C to F. Perfect fifth is 3.5 whole steps or 7 half steps. In this case, C to G. A major sixth is 4.5 whole steps or 9 half steps. And in this case, it's going to be C to A. And a major seventh is 5.5 whole steps or 11 half steps. And then a perfect octave is 6 whole steps or 12 half steps. Okay, let's look at some examples down here. So let's look at a major third here. Let's figure out what makes this a major third. It's a G to a B. So we go from G, and remember whenever we're counting intervals, we always start at 0. So whatever the bottom note is, that's 0. Then the next note up is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. So we're going to write 4 half steps. Let's write the number 4. We know that's a half step, and that's a major third. The way we can find it if we're missing it, like we're down here and we have to fill it in, the way we can find it is find the half step first, then look, 4 half steps, major third. Okay, now let's look at a perfect fifth. D to A. So we start at D, that's 0.
Renee, please report to room G10. Renee, please report to room G10.
We start at D, that's 0. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to A, 7 half steps. And we see up here that 7 half steps is a perfect fifth. Okay?
Renee Lawrence, please report to room G10. Renee Lawrence, please report to room G10.
Okay, perfect fourth is our next interval. And we start on E flat, so let's look at our keyboard. E flat, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 half steps. We see that 5 half steps is a perfect fourth, so that one's correct. Major second. Notice that a major second has the first note on the space, the next note's on the line. If the first note were to be on the line, the next note would have to be on the space. Okay, so major second, we have an A to a B. Let's find it on our keyboard. A, 0, 1, 2. 2 half steps for a major second. Then a major third. We've got an E to a G sharp, so we start at E, that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 half steps. That's how we know it's a major third. major sixth. Let's go here. Major sixth. So we're going to go from D to B. D, that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 half steps for a major sixth. And those are our examples. Let's look at some of your, some number 1 here. Okay. Let's get it focused here. Alright. Now, number 1. And we're going to use the keyboard for this as well. Number 1 just so happens to be in bass clef. So we're going to start with a C to an E. C to an E. So let's find it on our keyboard. C. 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. So we'll write 4 under this, and I'd like you to do this as well. 4 half steps, then we look at the top of our page. 4 half steps. Which one of these intervals has 4 half steps? Go ahead and point to the one. Right, that's a major third. So we're going to write major third. Remember that M is how we denote major, capital M. Okay? Let's go down again. This is a G to a D. This is the next one, G to a D. So let's count on our keyboard, and we're going to have to go back to the beginning here because we're going to run out of space, but we're just going to count this C once. So we're going to count G, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to D. 7 half steps. Which one of these has 7 half steps? Correct, perfect fifth. So we're going to write P for perfect and 5 for fifth. Perfect fifth. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one. We've got a D going up to an A. So let's get our keyboard back out. D going up to an A. So let's start on D. D will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 half steps. Again, 7 half steps equals a perfect fifth. So we're going to write perfect fifth again. Okay. Let's look at the next one. C to D. C to D. Let's find our C on our keyboard, right here. 0, 1, 2. 2 half steps. Look up here. Which one has 2 half steps? That's going to be a minor second. A major second. That will be a major second. So we're going to write a capital M, the number 2. Remember, when we're writing our intervals, we always write the quality, so that's major or perfect in this case, first. Then we write the number, so that's 1 through 8. So this is a major second. It's very important to put the quality before the number. Next we have an E flat to a G. So let's look at this. E flat to a G. Let's find our E flat on our keyboard. There it is. E flat is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 half steps. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to go up here, find out where 4 half steps is. Oh look, it's right next to major third. That means that E flat to a G is a major third. Alright, and one more on line 1. We're going to do A flat to D flat. A flat to D flat. Okay. Let's find the A flat on our keyboard. And again, we're going to have to skip back to the beginning here. That's okay. A flat right here, that'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're skipping this C and going right here to D flat. That's 5. So 5 half steps. Which one of these up top has 5? It's correct, a perfect fourth. So you can see that finding the half steps first really, really helps you when you're trying to identify these intervals, okay? So on this worksheet we've done the examples and we've done line 1 together. So I'd like you to go ahead and finish this worksheet by doing lines 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lines 2, 3, 4, and 5. And bring it in and we will check it in class.